Hey, everybody.
Hi, guys. Coming to you from Salt Lake City, Utah.
It's Thank God I'm Atheist.
The podcast.
I'm Frank.
And I'm Dan.
Woo!
And that's who we are.
Yeah.
We're those two guys. Frank and Dan.
Yeah. And coming up on today's show, we do have another segment of the Mormonism series.
Yeah, what Mormons believe.
Yeah.
That's always fun.
So that's going to be good. We're going to be taking a call, and we've got like some other stuff, some feedback.
We got various and sundry.
Yeah, so
all sorts of stuff.
People are interacting, and I love it.
Yeah, we are such fans of you guys. We're fans of you. When we know who you are.
Yeah, but you have to let us know who you are.
Because we really don't know. As far as we're concerned, it's like there's two guys in Poughkeepsie until you tell us where you are.
Yeah, absolutely. And we should definitely... I think it's time to kind of say thank you to the people who left comments on iTunes.
Oh, yeah.
Because there were a bunch of people who responded to that.
It's so nice.
I think when we did the shout out for those, there were about 5 comments, and we're up to, I think, 12 or something? Or we're up to 12 stars.
12
not 12 stars,
ratings.
But 12 ratings.
Ratings and then a bunch of
comments.
Yeah, but however, I will say this. Mm-hmm. We could use more.
Oh, yeah.
And one hates to sound beggy or whatever. but
beggy?
Yeah, beggy, as in...
Beggarish?
Beggarly?
Okay.
Pretty sure that's how Shakespeare would have put it.
Beggarly?
Yeah.
You think so?
No.
Wow, look at you.
I am a Shakespearean scholar,
Are you?
Sure.
You know a lot about Shakespeare.
Yeah, I studied.
Does that make you a Shakespeare scholar?
I think if you studied it...
I'm not calling you on it, but I'm just asking.
I think if you've put a significant amount of study into a certain subject, you can claim scholarship on that subject.
All right. Well, there you are. Look at you. That's fancy, Dan.
It does sound fancy. It's not as useful as you might think it would be.
I don't know.
But I can sure throw a quote out every now and then. Anyway.
Well, anyways, most of you have probably found us on iTunes, so you know where we're at. You know how to get to the podcast. So just if you don't mind, go on back and leave a little comment.
Yeah, do it right now while you're listening. You got your device in your hand.
Absolutely.
Just go.
That's a good point, Dan.
Click that 5 stars.
Yeah.
Only 5 stars.
Yeah.
If you click any fewer than 5, really, it's just going to hurt our feelings.
Yeah. Really?
No.
The people can be honest.
Yeah, you can totally be honest.
In fact, we welcome your
5-star
honesty.
ratings. Oh boy! Hey, what do you got? You got anything interesting and fun?
Yes, I do.
Will you tell me a story?
Well, this story comes to us from France.
Once upon a time, in a land far away.
Yes, and it's about a dude who
I believe the French say le dude.
Le dude. Un dude who no longer wants to be Catholic.
Okay. That's easy enough.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
So
right?
far, unremarkable.
Unremarkable, yeah. And he wants to be debaptized.
Okay, what's that?
Basically, he wants his name to disappear from the books of the Catholic Church.
Oh.
Because when he initially wrote to the diocese and asked to be unbaptized, they responded back with by sending him a copy of his records.
Right.
And in the margin next to his name, it said that he had chosen to leave the church.
Right.
And that's how they dealt with it. But it was still a record that was in their possession.
Right.
But it said, but he's chosen to leave the church. Right. They put a notation on his record.
He wants to have never have existed.
He wants to, he doesn't want to appear on their books. Okay. I think that's, as a former Mormon, I know the feeling.
Yeah. Right? Okay.
And, you did that with the LDS Church, right?
I did. Although for me, it's probably more of a statement to have taken my name off, to leave on their records that I used to be with them and take it and have now taken my name off. To me, that's more of a statement than to have disappeared. I want them to know.
You want some historian. Well, here's the truth about the LDS Church, Dan.
Yes.
let's face it, they didn't wipe you clean out of their system.
They're probably still counting me.
They probably are. They're such bastards.
I don't know. Then again, they are. They're bastards with numbers, but they're also pretty technical.
I think that the way that they would what they're doing, and this is how they are technical. I think what they're doing is they're removing you from sort of your little family unit thing. But I'm sure your name exists in their system as being a former member. Because if you go back to the church...
I'm sure they keep meticulous records about who was a member.
Exactly.
And who
they want to double check that you weren't.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. To clarify, I really don't think that they count me anymore. Because now that I'm off the books. They still count dead people and 8-year-olds.
Right.
But they don't count me.
I bet they do. I
give them the benefit of the doubt on that one. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Anyways,
go ahead.
Okay. All right. So anyways, of course, in France, I don't know if this is actually of course, but French law states that citizens have the right to leave organizations if they wish.
Sure.
Right. The free association and whatnot.
Right.
So it basically this went to court, and the first judge ruled in his favor.
Right. Oh, interesting.
And now the diocese has appealed.
Well, yeah.
And the case is...
Because this could be disastrous for them.
Oh, they would have paperwork. They'd have additional paperwork.
Well, and I'm guessing that in France there would be a flood of debaptisms.
Already 1,000 people who've asked. Oh, no. 1,000 people a year ask.
Oh, wow.
Have their baptisms annulled.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot of redacting.
Yeah, that is. And then, of course, let's face it, Catholicism it feels out of touch in the United States. I can only imagine what it feels like in France.
Yeah, although France is sort of such a traditionally Catholic place that I think everybody's sort of a default Catholic.
Sure.
Period.
But think about what the Catholic Church is and what they promote. And that seems just so incredibly counter.
Very antithetical to sort of the French aesthetic.
It's not a democratic organization.
No.
They don't necessarily like women. Right. Well, they do like women as long as they're in their place, and not getting abortions. And
when they're opposed to extramarital affairs and stuff, that's very non-French.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. What other French stereotypes could we pull out?
And the Catholics,
they probably all like bread and
they try to tell you what to
wine.
eat.
They like wine.
They try to tell you what to eat on Friday, though. The French don't want to be told what to eat.
But it's fish.
Yeah, that's true, fish. But it's like a
lot of European cuisine actually
revolves around.
Well, no, just eating of fish. The Catholic Church propped up a whole fishing industry.
That's true. But now it's overfishing. Now we have problems with overfishing. Thanks, Catholics.
Yeah. But anyways, this whole thing leads me to sort of wonder, what would. Could we have like a ceremonial debaptism?
Yeah.
Because that was the first thing that crossed my mind when I saw this. I was like, debaptism. What would that be?
Not just to be stricken from the records. A
physical ceremony to be debaptized.
How do you do that?
Well, it involves water.
Okay. So you
you start laying down in the water?
Well, are we doing a Mormon debaptism or are we doing a Catholic debaptism?
You squirt water away from you.
Right.
If it's Catholic.
Or someone throws air at you.
You get an air gun and blow it in your face.
That's right. Although, no, I think yours is right. I think you squirt water. You have to hold a squirt
hair
bottle.
mister things, and you just...
Yeah, you have to hold it up to your face and squirt everyone around you. Actually, you have to find a priest and run up to them with a squirt and squirt the priest, and then you're debaptized. But no, I think it's equally interesting to think about it because Mormons have baptism by immersion.
Oh yeah,
so we would have to do a whole.
So Mormons dress in white, so we dress in black.
You have to dress in black or be naked because you're mostly covered.
Because Mormon baptism, you're practically naked anyways.
Well,
remember how it all like sticks to you and it's see-through?
It does
so
get
gross,
clingy. It gets very clingy. Okay, so yeah, you dress in all black, and then you start in the water. And we pull you out.
Lift you out and dry you off real quick.
Everybody has to dry like the wind. You have to dry so fast. Debaptism by drying. All right, moving on. Oh, you know what we skipped? What we kind of missed?
What did we miss?
We didn't really miss. A couple weeks ago, the Supreme Court of this land, of our fair United States, had a kind of landmark decision involving religion.
Really?
That we didn't cover last week.
Uh-oh, Dan.
But it's okay.
We're slipping.
No, we're not.
We're not?
No,
Okay.
not at all. Okay. Because we make no claim to be
to be on top of it?
Completely on top of anything. You can't slip if you start at the bottom. Anyway, so if you'll recall, it was this woman who was she worked at a Methodist, I think it was a Methodist school. Mm-hmm. She taught mostly secular subjects. She was a teacher. She taught mostly secular subjects at this school, but also taught.
So they had a little school. Okay, I know the kind of place. Okay.
But she also taught one religion class while she was there, and she attended religious training, etc. So,
but she was a lay individual.
Indeed,
she was not a member of the clergy.
Ordained clergy.
Okay, cool.
And what happened was she contracted a disability.
Oh, what? How was she disabled?
Narcosleepy.
Oh.
She had the narcolepsy, which you just want to make fun of that disease. It's a terrible, horrible disease, and I'm sorry for anyone who has it, but it seems funny. Anyway, I'm terrible. I'm sorry. Anywho, so she has narcolepsy, and she missed a bunch of work, and she came back, and she was like, "Hey, I'm ready to work again." And they said, "Well, we're not sure about that." And she said, "Well, if you fire me, I will sue you." And they said, "Oh yeah? Well, then we fire you."
Oh my God! Oh my God! That's not right.
Now, the way that they're claiming this works is that they fired her because she threatened to go outside of their ranks. Because you can't, because they handle everything internally. It sounds very creepy. It all sounds very Big Brothery sort of thing. Or Illuminati or something. Anyway, so she sued.
Okay.
For under ADA. Because
absolutely.
She has a disability.
She has a disability.
They essentially
She's fired from a job
her.
That is basically it is a non-clergy job. It's not a religious position.
Not so, says the Supreme Court. They say that they said that since she taught one theological class, and since she represented the church in that manner, she essentially counts as clergy, and they can do and because the church gets to decide who represents them and who represents their views. They can fire her. So my initial impulse on this was to be just shocked and horrified.
Right.
Now I don't know.
Here's what I like to do.
Okay. What do you like to do, Frank?
I like to play swap in a scary religion. I like to say with this, what if it was some sort of group that was practicing, I don't know, Sharia law? Right?
Sure.
How would people respond to that? How would this Supreme Court respond
First of
to
all,
that?
we can't allow no schools in our country to have no madrasas, no Sharia law.
But you know what I mean, right?
No, I totally know what you mean. But here's the question. To me, there are two questions here.
Okay.
A, don't they get to decide who shares their message? Now, to me, the real question here is why can't?
Well, yeah, of course they get to decide
why can't they?
But they can't dismiss. There was nothing wrong with her ability to or the message that she was sending.
Right. I don't know why she can't sue to just get back her secular classes.
Well,
and if they want to cancel her religious class, fine. But I
don't know.
Yeah, you're right. It's so wrong.
I think it's just completely wrong. She was fired for a physical disability.
Yeah.
She was not fired because she had told the kids something that the clergy at that place did not agree with.
I know. Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right.
And that's wrong.
It's totally wrong.
It'd be wrong to fire a minister for that.
Right.
It'd be, you know, like,
yeah,
you can't.
Oh, and and they talk about that. In the article that I read, one guy talked about how scary it is because if a pastor is being sexually harassed, what can he do?
No kidding, right?
What recourse do these people have? Like, there are people employed by giant organizations,
right,
who may, under this new ruling, not have recourse to the law.
Wow. Yeah. That seems like one of those recent terrible decisions by the Supreme Court.
So do you want to know what the spread was on the court?
I heard unanimous. Yeah.
Not a single motherfucking one of them actually stood up for this thing.
It's disgusting. I'm shocked. Actually.
I'm shocked.
I'm completely shocked.
I mean, I'm no law professor,
right?
But this seems just on its face.
It seems like there could have been some grounds for one of them to just put in a dissenting voice,
to voice an objection. Yeah. No,
just one, one, and it could have been somebody just taking it for the team.
Where are you, Ruth Bader Ginsburg?
I don't know.
Where's that wise Latina that we were waiting for? Huh? Where's she at?
She's smart.
Not smart enough to get the right thing on this.
Well, Dan,
you know what I would do?
What would you do?
If I were a corporation, I would declare myself a religion.
Oh, absolutely.
You can act with impunity.
Oh, yeah. You don't have to pay taxes either.
It's brilliant.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. I'm starting the church of TGIA.
We should.
Yeah.
Why don't we?
Then we don't have to pay taxes.
And I'm going to fire you.
You can't. Wait. Hang on. I fire you. We have to arm wrestle to see who's the president or who's the prophet of our church.
I'll take you down.
You wish. Okay, you go.
All right. Here's a local story.
Okay. Oh, fun.
Local story.
Yeah.
The local transit authority runs the buses and the trains.
UTA.
The UTA.
Who normally do a great job.
Normally do a good job.
I find them to be a bang-up organization.
Yes. They have very, very clean buses and trains. Remarkably clean.
Depending on who sat there before you did.
There's that. But just in general,
they're
very, very clean.
Come to Salt Lake.
And they seem to run on time and all that.
It's a great place to ride a train.
Unless, of course, the train just killed someone. Because that's been the story lately. But anyways, UTA. So like transit companies do, or agencies do, they sell space on the side of their buses and trains.
Indeed they do.
To advertisers. And apparently it's the Utah Coalition of Reason, an atheist group, wanted to run an ad that said, "Don't believe in God? You're not alone." Innocent enough.
That's all it said?
Well, and listed its website.
Oh, sure.
That kind of thing.
Sounds great.
But UTA denied the ad, and on the grounds that it's not involved in some sort of commercial enterprise. It's not selling you a product, so therefore it can't run on UTA buses.
Oh,
you can't sell an idea unless you're the government, and then they'll run the ads if you're the government.
That doesn't sound
selling an idea
trumped up at all.
And so what the article from the Salt Lake Tribune is actually about is the American Humanist Association has requested in an open records law to see all examples of previous ads and they want to specifically see the ones that were run by churches. Because there's plenty of people who in
churches aren't slinging no product.
No.
Except your eternal salvation.
But apparently, according to UTA, the church ads may have been allowed as long as some sort of commercial product was being sold, such as a CD or some other such actual physical product. And I just don't know. I don't know what I've seen on the buses, to be honest. But
me neither. But to some extent, isn't it just? I mean, couldn't these guys just say, "Well, buy a T-shirt, buy a bumper sticker"?
Well, that's what I think their workaround obviously is. But in the meantime, they're going to stick it to the UTA if the UTA is actually not really enforcing their policy evenly across the board. And so I just thought that was an interesting one. It's not funny. There's not a lot to say, but it just kind of tied in a lot with, we've talked a lot about billboards and what would you run. That's a fine message.
Well, bus campaigns have been very successful all over the world, as a matter of fact. The biggest atheist ad campaign that I'm aware of started in England on buses. And then moved to Canada and then in places in the US. And it basically said, I've got it right here. As a matter of fact, I put a picture on the very first Thank God I'm Atheist entry.
Your blog?
On my blog, yeah.
Oh, thankgodimatheist.com? Mm-hmm. That one?
The one on thankgodimatheist.com, yes. Dated March 1st, 2009. Anyway, the picture, the bus ad says, "There's probably no God. Now stop worrying and enjoy your life."
That's nice.
Isn't that nice?
That's nice. It made me feel good.
Yeah, sure. It's a feel-good kind of thing. Although, strangely, some people just choose not to feel good about that.
Yeah.
And I find that rude.
Yeah.
They're just being jerks. Anyway. Oh, should I go to a lighter note?
Yeah, sure.
Like the murder of 4 people?
Go
okay, so... Excuse me. So, you've heard of this type of thing. There's a Muslim family, and there's someone in the Muslim family has somehow, quote unquote, dishonored the family, right?
Happens all the time.
And they kill them for it.
'Cause they're basically Klingons.
Indeed. Muslim. I wonder, there's got to be some inspiration there. There is. The Roddenberry's thinking of Klingons as essentially
well, in the
Middle
original
Easterners.
series they had they were dark and had mustaches. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
They wore hats. I don't know what that has to do with it.
Oh gosh. Yeah, it wasn't until Klingon 2.0 that they decided to be all squiggly foreheads and whatnot.
Right.
Anyway, so we've got is a Muslim family that's having the same issue.
Okay.
Father killed one of his 2 wives and 3 daughters.
Concurrently married.
Yes.
In Canada, you said?
I did not say that yet. I was going to surprise our listeners with that.
Oh, I'm
sorry. And then you blew it.
I blew it.
I was going to say, where do you think this is? And then you were going to pretend like you didn't know. And you were going to say, I don't know. Is that Afghanistan or is that going to be Turkey or where is that?
Is that what we discussed before?
We did not discuss this at all. I was just trying
you were
to
just
lead
hoping
you there.
that would happen.
I was hoping you were paying enough attention to me.
I hadn't eaten my Snicker bar until...
Yeah, you ate it late. You ate your Snickers late. Canada. My other homeland.
Dan.
I know.
Dan.
But here's the difference.
That doesn't happen in Canada.
It doesn't happen. No, it definitely doesn't happen in Canada.
But it did happen in Canada.
It did.
It did.
Mind you, this was an immigrant family from Afghanistan who
I don't know.
Didn't even speak
That seems really strange to me.
Yeah.
Canada is falling apart.
Don't go there, everybody. The Muslims of Canada will kill you.
Oh,
they will destroy you. Apparently, they're just running amok in Canada. No, but this guy. I'm surprised we haven't heard about it here. I had to hear about it from Canadian friends on Facebook.
Okay.
Isn't that typical though?
Yeah.
Of American news media.
Outraged.
Yeah, I know.
A Canadian had to tell you some Canadian news. It's horrifying.
Yeah, but this is news. This should have made it.
Well, it's surprising that it wasn't on Fox.
It's surprising that yes, okay.
Fox should be all over this.
Yeah, you'd think. But
It's perfect.
But there's
it's everything they hate.
except that the problem is that there's
Socialized medicine, run amok. Makes a man go crazy.
Right. No, but that's what I was going to say is that the reason Fox didn't carry it is because there's no way to turn the narrative into Obama did this. This is Obama's fault somehow.
Okay.
Anyway, but it's amazing. I mean, basically, he killed 3 teenage sisters.
Oh my God.
After bringing shame upon the family by dating, shunning traditional religious garb, and skipping school.
Oh my God.
And but the man's not the only one who's convicted here. By the way, the book was thrown at these people. They were convicted. They are going to jail. But it was the man.
Good.
It was the man, his other wife, and his son. All 3 of them were convicted of all of the murders.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. By the way, his wife that survived. Her name is Tuba Yaya.
Really? Mm-hmm. That's a nice name.
Tooba. Tuba.
Tuba.
Yaya is her last name.
Where did you say they're from?
Originally Afghanistan.
Oh.
They're Afghani.
Tuba.
Mm-hmm.
Yaya.
Yaya.
I like that we got hung up on that.
Well,
Okay.
I mean, it's such a depressing story. You might as well get the Tuba Yaya out of it.
God.
Yaya, by the way, is how Greek people say grandmother.
Really? Mm-hmm. It's tuba grandma. Okay.
Yeah, anyway.
Yeah, all right.
I had a tuba grandma over there.
Shit.
I need a tuba Yaya for my teeth.
Yeah.
Tuba.
That's
not-
really sad.
It's not a tuba.
That's really sad.
It is sad.
You want to hear something
just crazy.
that
Oh wait!
that's
I'm
kinda
sorry. Let me
crazy
go
as
back
well?
to. Let me go
Wait,
back to.
you have something
to
else?
this one just because I wanted to read what the what the justice
Tuba
said.
Yaya had to say?
No, what the judge said because I liked it.
Okay.
He said the apparent reason behind these cold-blooded, shameful murders was that the 4 completely innocent victims offended your completely twisted concept of honor. That has absolutely no place in any civilized society.
Wow.
He was not mincing words.
No, he wasn't.
Yeah, I like that.
Good for him.
Yeah.
I like it when a judge gets preachy.
Yeah,
No, but I do.
I know.
I do. I'm not.
It's
being-
great.
Yeah, I like it because they have that moment when they can just chew someone out. I like it. All right. Well, here's somebody who needs some chewing out.
Oh, chew away.
It is the Kansas House Speaker Mike O'Neill.
Oh, yay, Kansas. Kansas is one of our favorite places.
Kansas is awesome. He sent out an email that had sort of this the general message of the email was
this a mass email?
Yes.
Okay. So we sent it out to a whole bunch
Oh
of
yeah. It was like some big mass email.
Okay.
And it said the overall message is pray for Obama, Psalm 109:8. And if you read
that's
Psalm
nice.
109, yeah, right.
Pray for him.
Pray for Obama.
Sure.
From a Republican.
Something tells me the other shoe's about to drop, Frank.
So the Bible, the verse says, "Let his days be few, and let another take his office." Okay,
Yeah, cute.
It's cute.
Yeah, right.
But
But let his days be few. That doesn't just say...
let his days be few.
It doesn't just say
and so
in office,
To
but-
understand that verse maybe a little bit better, all you have to do is read the next verse.
Oh, cool. Clarify for us.
And it says, may his children be fatherless and his wife a widow. In order to clarify, yes, let his days be few. Let him die.
Let him die.
Let him die.
Doesn't it have more about, like... I don't know. I briefly saw that, but... Yeah,
Well,
that's awful.
I mean, that's the biblical... that's the passage from the Bible. But it says, in his email, he says, "At last I can honestly voice a biblical prayer for our president. Look it up. It is word for word. Let us all bow our heads and pray, brothers and sisters. Can I get an amen? Amen."
Yeah. He said, "Can I get an amen?"
Yeah.
And then he said amen.
And then he
after
says
that.
amen with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 exclamation points.
Wow.
Amen!
What psalm is this?
Psalm 109:8, and of course verse 9 as well, in order to get the full meaning and message. He is not going to apologize. He's but this guy, he's no fan of the Obamas. He referred to, also in an email, that referred to the First Lady as Mrs. Yo Mama, and that went out to his GOP colleagues as well.
Oh, this guy thinks he's funny.
And he also compared her to the Grinch.
See, here's what I don't get. I fancy myself something of a humorous fellow.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
I don't think we'd get away with doing a podcast if we didn't have decent senses of humor. I'm not going to, declare myself some grand wizard of humor, but here's what I'm thinking. Honestly, why does he think that in order to be funny,
mm-hmm.
how is it funny to say a name, to call someone a name?
Well, we learn that in grade school, Dan. We learn in grade school. It's one of the earliest humor lessons.
It's a foundational tenet of humor.
You learn this at a very young age.
What did he call her?
Mrs. Yo Mama.
Oh, because she's black.
Well,
I get it.
Yeah.
It's not just puerile and infantile. It's racist.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Going back to the basics.
Back to the basics.
Okay.
It's
fun.
Did you hear what happened in Tennessee?
I don't know. What happened in Tennessee?
What happened in Tennessee was that... Okay, so there's a peach...
Does anybody believe that I don't know what happened in Tennessee?
Yeah, you already know. You know full well. Okay, so there's a guy and there's a very lovely state senator named Stacey Campfield.
Oh, okay.
He's a man. Stacey.
Stacey?
Stacey, I think you have a girl's name.
Stacey.
If you're listening. Anyway, so Stacey is a rampant homophobe. And I do mean rampant. He's had some really cute quotations.
Let's hear some. Is he like Tennessee's Chris Butters?
He is, as a matter of fact, Tennessee's Chris Butters.
Okay.
Except that he's still in office. And Chris Butters, who used to be a Utah senator, no longer is in office.
Yes.
Isn't that nice?
It's very nice.
Okay, so he said, what did he say? On why heterosexuality on why only heterosexuality should be discussed in schools. Homosexuals do not naturally reproduce. It has not been proven that it is nature. It happens in nature, but so does bestiality. That does not make it right for something. Or something we should be teaching in school.
When two sheep have sex, it's not bestiality.
Yeah, that's what I couldn't even get past that because I'm sitting here trying to imagine how an animal has bestial sex.
By nature.
What the hell is he talking about?
Oh, there's just like sheep humping goats.
It's like anything of a higher order that has sex with them.
There's like horses fucking cows.
Mass hysteria. Dogs and cats living together. So that was a mild thing that he said. Other things and he said homosexuals represent about 2 to 3% of the population, yet you look at television and plays in theaters and it's 50% of the theaters. And probably more than that. 50% of the theaters based on something about homosexuality.
What?
This guy clearly goes to a lot of theater.
He loves the theater.
Okay, but
what kind of shows is he going to? This man.
Oh, he likes Chorus Line and just anything with show tunes. He really adores.
Yeah,
but I got to give you this one because this one's really scary.
Okay.
Most people realize that AIDS came from the homosexual community. It was one guy screwing a monkey, if I recall correctly, and then having sex with men. It was an airline pilot, if I recall.
He knows the whole story. Does he know this guy?
He knows who did it. He knows the guy who fucked a monkey. Oh my gosh, you gay people are so messed up.
Oh, well, it's just, they're so cute.
Oh my gosh. Oh. I think this guy's wife fucks a monkey every time.
Okay.
He also said, my understanding is that it is virtually, not completely, but virtually impossible to contract AIDS through heterosexual sex.
Jesus Christ, this man.
It's just
tell that to all the women in Africa who've contracted AIDS.
Yeah, and all the men who keep spreading it around.
Exactly.
Well, men and women both.
I mean, it's
equally responsible for the
but,
spreading.
No, you're right. Of course. But
as a matter of fact, it is if you just go by the numbers, it is largely a heterosexual disease.
Oh,
it is more heterosexual than homosexual.
Yeah, absolutely.
In part because there's just a lot more heterosexual folks.
Yeah.
So,
and it's an enormous epidemic in Africa.
Yeah.
And in the inner city.
And growing in the United States.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Yeah. We had it beat back for a while. Anyway, so we didn't even get to the story. So this guy...
Wait a second. You're right.
This guy who's...
We've just been having fun.
We've just been showing what a jerky is.
Yeah.
And his story's about monkeys.
Yeah, okay.
It kills me. He was denied service at a restaurant.
Oh.
There was a restaurateur in I think Knoxville who was just like, you know what? No. Get out. She said,
I like this woman.
And then she posted a Facebook thing on the restaurant's Facebook page that said, I don't
know this part.
Yeah, it said, I hope that Stacey Campfield now knows what it feels like to be unfairly discriminated against.
I like this woman.
Right?
Oh my God.
Isn't that fun?
Wow.
Mind you, she got way more attention than she was bargaining for.
No, absolutely. Yeah.
But I think that was amazing.
Yeah.
And then he apparently was pissing and moaning about like his civil rights being violated.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. So in response, he wrote or he said something about where is it? Oh. So he blogged about the experience and said that and he claims that he left the restaurant because she started to yell and call me names again. So I figured it was better to just leave. Instead of she just said you have to go.
Oh my God.
But here's the best part. He adds this little bit. Some people have told me that my civil rights were violated under the 1964 Civil Rights Act, and in that a person cannot be denied service based on their religious beliefs. And then in parentheses he says, I'm a Catholic, and the Catholic Church does not support the act of homosexuality.
Oh my God.
You know what? This is not about your religious beliefs, my friend.
No.
This is about you being a dickhead.
Yeah.
No dickheads.
An ill-informed dickhead, I might add.
Can you disprove the monkey story?
No, he might know. he Was this man a pilot by any chance?
I think he was a pilot, if I recall. Oh my gosh.
Oh goodness. Well, actually, as we're going into break,
oh yeah,
to regroup,
let's send it over.
Let's listen to the woman from the restaurant.
Oh hey, I'm Martha Buggs. I'm the owner of the Bistro Restaurant on Gay Street. Sunday brunch, Mr. Cadfield came in for brunch and he was asked to leave. That was done to show my support of the gay community and to protest some of the things that he's been saying in the media, particularly about AIDS, HIV, and the gay community in general, which I think he's a bully and needed to be stood up to. And as a business owner, I have the right to refuse service, and it was kind of a gut reaction, and I really didn't expect to get quite this much attention from it, but I just hope that some people that will either be inspired or angry, whichever reaction that you want, that you're right, and you have your right to your beliefs, just like we all do. And that's what I was doing, was expressing mine.
Martha Boggs.
Martha Boggs, congratulations.
You go, Martha.
That is absolutely fantastic.
How many of us just wait for an opportunity like that and never get it?
Well, you had the opportunity, if you'll recall. We were in the movie theater and Orrin Hatch came in.
We went to a movie and Senator Orrin Hatch from Utah was sitting in the same row as us. And, I turned to Frank and my wife and I said, I have to go. And I walked out.
And Andrea and I were terrified of what was going to happen.
Because what I really wanted to do was get a drink and just spill it on him.
Right.
That was what I really, really wanted to do.
Yeah.
But instead, I just sort of shot him the bug eye as I walked past. But you want to know what's creepy?
Okay, you're going to tell us.
Okay, so I'm moving past him, and everybody's either doing the sort of the half stand to let me pass.
Sure,
or
that's what you do.
Or you go to the one side.
You move your knees all the way off to the side.
Those are the two options. You either move your knees all the way to one side, or you do the half stand.
Right.
He spreads his knees. He goes full spread eagle. He doesn't go to one side or the other. He spreads them.
Why does he
like
he's been practicing yoga.
He just presents his crotch. That's his way of letting me pass. Here, let me let you pass, son. Get a sniff of that while you're at it. It was so disconcerting. I think that's probably why I didn't do anything to him, is because I was so disconcerted by the open leg pass.
Oh, God.
That really freaked me out, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
That is not right, Mr. Senator. You have done something incredibly wrong. Oh, my gosh.
Oh.
What do you got? You got an email?
We have an email.
Oh,
goodness, that made more noise than I wanted it to. All right, yeah, we got an email.
I love it when we get an email.
The subject line just says correction.
Oh.
And when I saw that, I was like,
we've made a mistake.
We've made a terrible mistake.
And it turns out we have.
We did make a mistake.
Because last week.
Well, let's just read it. Just for the record, Curtis is not your only black listener. I've been a fan since the first episode. You guys have rapidly become one of my favorite atheist podcasts. I am a newly immigrated resident of Vancouver. I moved up here partly to escape the religious hellhole that is Memphis, Tennessee. Sorry, Memphis. I haven't regretted the move for 1 second. Believe it or not, I am also ex-Mormon.
Amazing.
That's awesome.
Oh, I love that. And Vancouver is lovely.
Yes.
Well done.
I
think you definitely traded up.
That was a good step up.
What's his name?
His name is Paul.
Oh, Paul.
And he mentions that he and his wife were married in the Salt Lake Temple in 1991.
Oh.
And
that's darling.
Yeah, keep up the good work.
Well done for getting out, Paul.
So thank you, Paul.
Yeah.
That was a really nice message. And so we have 2 black listeners, apparently.
Giving Curtis a run for his money.
Who's our favorite black listener?
You guys got to understand, we live in Salt Lake City. We don't expect black people to listen to us.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I love it. I love it.
It's fun. And so I like the good nature and email.
Yeah.
So, anyways, yeah. So we had that,
and we had a voicemail as well.
Yeah. Let's.
Do you remember several weeks back we had a voicemail from Panama?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Is that who this is from?
It's Jason.
Oh my God. Okay. Let's take a listen.
Yeah.
Hello guys. This is Jason again, calling from the Peace Corps in Panama. I'm calling because recently I listened to another podcast called the Global News Podcast from the BBC. It was the 28th of January podcast, and around 16 minutes or so, there was a really interesting clip about a man speaking of the importance of maybe importing some of religious ideas into his personal way of living, even though he is a staunch atheist. So I was wondering if maybe you guys would like to give that a listen and think about that. Perhaps you'd want to talk about it on the show. I hope you guys are doing well. Bye.
Oh, thanks, Jason.
Yeah, thanks, Jason. And we actually did go and listen to that clip from the BBC. Is the voicemail is a little garbled. If you want to tune in and listen to like this whole clip. It's the what was it? The BBC World
something. Well, you're the one that pulled it up.
Oh my God! How did I do that? It's the BBC World News podcast.
Yeah.
And it was January 28th, and it's right around 16 minutes.
At the 16-minute mark.
At the 16-minute mark,
right,
in the show,
right,
is when you can hear what we're going to play a little snippet of this. It's Alain de Botton.
Alain de Botton.
Alain de Botton, and he's a Swiss philosopher, or he is Swiss and he's a philosopher. And
a novelist. And
a novelist and all sorts.
And apparently an architect. I'm not quite sure how
I
that
don't
fits
get
in.
this guy. But anyways, he says some interesting things. So let's see what Jason's referencing.
Sure.
To my mind, of course, no part of religion is true in the sense of being God-given. The real issue is not whether God exists or not, but where one takes the argument to once one concludes that evidently he doesn't. I believe it must be possible to remain a committed atheist and nevertheless to find religion sporadically useful, interesting and consoling, and to be curious as to the possibilities of importing certain of their ideas and practices into the secular realm. One can be left cold by the doctrines of the Christian Trinity or the Buddhist fivefold path, and yet, at the same time, be quite interested in the ways in which religions deliver sermons, promote morality, engender a spirit of community, make use of art and architecture, inspire travels, train minds, and encourage gratitude at the beauty of spring.
All right.
Yeah. Okay.
There's truth there.
This guy had a TED Talk that I watched.
Oh.
A while before this.
Okay.
A while back.
Okay.
And he called it Atheism 2.0. And this was his big revelation was that there's stuff that we can learn and use from the religious world, tools, if you will.
Well, religion has had thousands of years to kind of figure this stuff out.
Absolutely.
Like, what do people really respond to?
Sure.
As far as music and art and architecture, and especially if you're in Europe and you're going into those, going into cathedrals and whatnot. They are inspiring buildings.
Yeah.
You go into a Gothic architecture or a Gothic cathedral, and it's overwhelming.
Sure, but it's not just that. It's the skills of a believer that we could use. It's things like repetition of certain ideas. It's not because we as atheists we kind of say an idea or we hear an idea, and then we expect ourselves to just incorporate it fully into our lives, whereas everything's just pounded into you over and over and over constantly.
But is that a good thing, that pounding in? That I question that.
I think dogma is not a good thing.
Right.
However, there's certain things like mindfulness in your life that are useful. Mm-hmm. So meditation can be useful in that respect,
sure.
and so can just reminding yourself of things that you want or of things that will be helpful, things that you have found helpful.
Right.
As a guy with ADD, I gotta say,
right,
this would be helpful for me if I just reinforced messages that I find useful and helpful in my life.
Right, but what I'm also hearing here is community, and which I mean, how many times has any atheist bemoaned the fact that
there's a lack of community?
There's a lack of community.
Well,
right?
That's what this is. I mean, that's why we do a podcast. Is in part to sort of engender a sense of community with people.
Yeah.
So
but
yes,
we're not meeting in a fellowship hall, or a cultural hall, and
there are groups that do though.
There are,
and I encourage them.
Yes, we don't go to those.
No, because I went to like a couple of things, and it was fine. And they usually go to a bar, and you have some drinks, and what can you do? It's not like anybody can actually give a sermon.
All right. Well, that's why you go to Unitarian service.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. We may have to go to that.
We do need to go to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I still think our next church review needs to be non-Christian. Anyway,
just because you don't want to go on a Sunday.
No. I'm fine with it. I found a mosque. Do you know about Salt Lake's mosque that's out
in Chesterfield off of Redwood Road.
Yeah, way off of Redwood Road.
Yeah, next to the river.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd never seen it before. I just recently saw it.
I've been in that mosque.
Have you?
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Yeah.
we should go there.
We could. My Muslim student, actually, that's where her family goes.
That'd be great. Let's see if we can work that out.
It's interesting. I went to afternoon prayer, and the amazing thing about mosques and Islam, when it's nice and moderate and American, they have such an open approach to things. You know, I expected it to be very closed.
Oh yeah,
right. And instead
kind of a stereotype.
Instead, it was like, oh, you want to film in the mosque while we're praying? Sure. And it was just like, oh, okay. All you have to do is take your shoes off. And, you know, it's separated by gender, right? The women are separated away and everything. It's my female. She's a girl.
And
right?
she's there with all the men.
And she's down on the floor in the main part of the mosque, and there was no problem with it because she wasn't in the act of prayer.
Right. Interesting.
And so it's like the rigidness with which these kind of things get interpreted, like in Mormonism,
right?
Where it's like, oh my God, you can't
Don't
even
go to the temple. You can't go in. You can look at it.
But they seem to have a little bit more of a sort of a broader view of their own faith and whatnot.
Sure.
And the real reason why they do certain things. And
although
everything.
there are fundamentalists,
of course there are fundamentalists, but it's just it's striking to me as somebody who grew up in the Mormon faith,
indeed,
which can be so incredibly conservative and tight about things.
Yeah. So. I do want to say, Jason, I'm very disappointed that you would listen to any podcast but ours. It's just... Damn. It's such a betrayal. I'd like to bear my testimony that I know our podcast is true.
Oh, yeah.
But what I just did was a very Mormon thing.
Yes.
Non-Mormons will not understand that, but there's a bearing of testimony. Speaking of what Mormons do, should we move on?
Oh, let's do what Mormons believe. Part 2.
What Mormons believe. Yeah. So, when we last left the Mormons,
we were talking about the pre-existence.
Yeah.
And this actually...
The fact that we all
existed prior to being born.
Being here
right?
on Earth. Which, by the way, is what leads Mormon women to believe that there's another spirit up in heaven waiting for them to get pregnant. And
that's why Mormons have such huge families.
Yeah. It's this lovely narrative of like, it's not just, do I want another child? It's, I think there's another one waiting for me. I'll be doing that intelligence a disservice. I can't. I have to have another one. Doesn't matter if you can afford it. Anyway, so we're moving on from
the pre-existence.
Right.
Where there was, if you'll recall, the war in heaven and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Or the council in heaven.
Right.
The
board meeting in heaven.
Some Mormons like to call it.
Sure.
And so anyways, so there's this idea of when you're born, well, why can't we remember it?
Well, that is a question.
Yeah. Well, if we're here, why, so Mormons talk about the veil a lot. There's this veil that's been placed over your mind, and so that you cannot remember that the pre-existence, because all your agency would go away if you could remember God.
Oh, that's
you would. This would not be a true test. This would not be
right. And that's the purpose of this life.
The purpose of mortality is to gain a body.
Yes.
Because God has a body. God is corporeal. That's actually really important in Mormon mythology.
Yeah.
Is God is not a spirit. God is not some form that is other than man. God is flesh.
Right.
And that's a really striking belief about God.
Right.
For so many people. And it's also really important. We might want to just also say that God, Jesus Christ, and the Holy Ghost are three separate beings.
Yeah, we did talk about that last time we were talking about Mormonism.
Okay, yeah.
The other thing about
they
God...
do not believe in the Trinity.
The other thing about God having a body is that he actually had sex with Mary.
Oh, yeah.
To give birth to Jesus.
Oh, absolutely.
That was not... There was nothing like... It wasn't spiritual semen. It was actual God semen.
Her virginity was that she hadn't had sex with a human.
So she was a virgin.
She had sex with God.
Till God done knocked her up.
Oof.
Yep.
Yes. Did you know, this total side note,
Yeah.
did you know that Muslims believe in the virgin birth of Jesus Christ?
Yeah.
Isn't that the wildest thing?
Yeah, they like Jesus.
They like Mary. They love Mary.
Yeah. I mean, none of it
so
matters
nuts.
because the prophet Muhammad trumps everything.
Well, yeah. I mean,
But they see Jesus as a prophet.
yeah.
Yeah.
I knew that they believed that he was a prophet, but the whole virgin birth thing just blew my mind. They believe that Mary just sprang forth a child.
Yeah.
Anyways, I totally digressed there.
Yeah.
But anyway, so mortality. You gain a body
Right.
so that you have the potential to have an exalted body later,
Right.
so that you can become like God. Let that sink in for a minute. It's also a time though to be tested. Are you a true? Can you withstand, even with this veil,
The temptations of
the
evil.
temptations? Is your character good enough? Is it high quality enough? Are you cut from that fabric, basically?
Because apparently God did not make us very well.
No.
God,
Like the vast majority of people do not win in this scenario
right?
at all.
Fully a third of the people he created didn't even make it to body. Didn't
No.
even make it to
No,
Earth.
they chose to go with Satan.
Right.
Yes.
He's a shitty creator. Mm-hmm. Frankly, that guy sucks.
Yeah.
Because honestly, just make him right the first time. You don't have to go through all this nonsense.
Yeah, he doesn't seem like very much of like this perfect being
No.
in my mind.
An omnipotent being does not create people that he then has to test.
But this is the way that it's done.
Right.
And that's also important. with
It's very
Mormonism.
important to them. And if you ask them why, they say they don't know.
Because let's review what we know about Mormonism from Battlestar Galactica.
Indeed.
Okay.
Which is the authority, really, when it comes to Mormonism. The original series is mainly the authority. The new series loosely.
The new series has like some phrases,
Right.
But anyways, the whole idea that this is sort of a cycle,
Right.
That God went through what we're going through in
Yes.
order to become God.
And that's there's a big revelation right there.
Yeah.
God was like us.
God was like us. This is not fringe Mormon belief. It's
no,
belief
no.
that Mormons don't talk about
But it's central.
often, but they do talk about this in seminary and in Sunday school.
Absolutely.
They just don't really like to talk about it with outsiders because, they're doing this whole PR thing right now.
Well,
where,
indeed.
I'm an architect and I'm a Mormon.
They're trying to distance themselves from the crazy. But the fact of the matter is that, was it Joseph Smith that basically laid it out, as we are, God once was, and as God is, man may become.
Yeah.
Isn't that fun?
That's fun stuff.
You
Yeah.
can be a god, you guys.
Yeah.
If you believe in Mormonism. Oh, which by the way makes it a polytheistic religion. I'm just going to point that out.
Well, here's where it's not.
Oh,
Here's where I'm actually going to go. I'm going to side with the Mormons, or at least say what they would say to that claim.
okay.
Which is they only have one God. Those other gods are irrelevant to them.
To our life
They
here
don't
on Earth.
exactly.
But
Those
they
gods have
believe
no
in them.
authority over this life. They have no influence over this life. They have no connection to this life.
Right.
Beyond the chain of gods that has led up to
Right. But
the
God
current-
is
our
one. God is one.
current God.
Our God.
Our God.
The God assigned to us. Who created us.
Our supreme God is our God.
But he had a God before him.
But he did have a God before him.
And this goes back.
So they do
ad
believe. So
infinitum.
if you say polytheism, meaning that they believe that there are many gods,
Yes.
yes, that is true.
Correct.
They don't believe that there's like a god of nature, or there's a god of the
No.
water, or
No.
there's a god of this, or the god, which is what your mind normally goes to when you pull out the
but
word.
not only do they believe that there are infinite gods creating infinite groups of people and having their own stuff, but they believe that if they live their good lives,
They live their good lives. They go through the temple. They keep their temple
They marry appropriately.
Covenants and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
They marry in the temple. They have children
To whom they are
that
sealed
born
for time and
in
all
the covenant.
eternity.
And and
all
then-
of that stuff. If you go through all of that and you do it well, and you don't smoke and you don't drink and
you pay a tenth of your income to the church.
you don't murder nobody and you vote for Mitt Romney, then you get to be a god.
Yes, but before any of that can happen, you first will die.
Yeah. Oh yes.
And you will you will leave mortality, and you will enter into the spirit world
Again, from whence you came, but not the same part.
This is a different section.
You go
different side.
You go
of it.
to God's waiting room.
You go to God, and it is. You don't go to heaven. You don't go to hell. You don't. That whole thing of like immediate judgment as to where you're going to go,
Right.
doesn't exist.
No, it's the Beetlejuice school of thought. It's school of afterlife.
Which is?
Don't you remember the waiting room scene?
Oh,
in
Beetlejuice. Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
It was a great scene.
Yeah, it's also that Meryl Streep and what's his name?
Wait, is that the Albert Brooks one?
Albert Brooks?
Oh my god!
Wait, what was that one?
Oh
shoot. Anyways, so you're in a sort of a waiting area. You're in a holding area,
There are
which
two of
is
them.
divided.
Yes.
and you're right.
Exactly.
There's paradise and there's prison. There's spirit paradise and there's spirit prison. These are not heaven and hell.
You have much better snacks in paradise.
You are, as is suggested by its name, you are a spirit at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And
you don't have a body.
You no longer have a body.
You've been separated from your body.
And all you want is to have a body back, and it's just killing you. And
you've got an itch.
So
somewhere
there
on your
is
body
some
that you can't do
weird,
anything.
and I never really understood this as a Mormon having this explained to me, that there is a judgment.
Yes,
that takes place. You are sort of, you over here, you over there. There is some mechanism going on there.
Yes. They don't tell
it's
you
not like
who's
spirit
doing
prison is like some horrible place.
No, not
You're
at all.
just, it's first class and second class.
Right. Yes.
So it's business class and coach going on here. And so what you're waiting for is the resurrection. And
we all got to hang out until that happens.
you have to, and here's the deal:
Well,
everybody gets resurrected.
yeah.
Everybody who had a body gets resurrected.
None of this. None of this rapture shit.
No, it's not just about God's chosen few or anything like that.
Nope, we all get to do
everybody
it.
gets their body back, and this is the good deal that Jesus offered, right?
Right.
Or actually, no. I mean, I guess
this is
actually
always-
God.
this is just-
God just.
yeah, this
if
is
you
just
make
how
it
it
to
works.
Earth, you will get a body.
You get to keep it.
You'll have to die,
Right.
but
And
you're
lose
going to get it back.
You're going to get it back. Don't worry.
Okay.
Not everybody dies.
Oh, some are twinkled.
Some are twinkled. Indeed. Indeed. I love that phrasing because Mormons actually say that you're shuffled off in the twinkling of an eye.
Yeah, and
I
so
love that.
And so the
you're
verb that is caught
translated.
on from that is just the easy
People
thing.
use that?
Oh yeah, you're twinkled.
Oh, I've never heard that in my life.
You've never heard that?
No.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Go ahead and get twinkled.
Yeah.
That's the way to go.
Yeah. The official word though
Is translation. You are translated rather than dying. You just keep everything and you just move on.
But that's for a rare select few, and some stuff about the millennium that we don't want to really get into at this point.
so mired down.
We'll get to that at a whole nother point. This is really sort of an overview.
I think Mitt might get translated if he plays his cards right.
Well, yeah. Oh, definitely. His calling an election has been made sure.
Have you seen his hair? He's going to get translated.
Really?
Oh, yeah. You don't want that to die. That is a fine mane. Lovely coiffure.
All right, so you're resurrected, and then
because Jesus came back.
Now there's the judgment.
Yes.
Okay.
The real judgment. Not just the initial sorting.
Yeah.
And people like us go to hell.
Right.
Nope.
No.
Not right.
No.
Because guess what? There's no hell.
There is no Mormon hell.
No.
Mormon hell does not exist.
That is correct.
But we'll get to that in a minute. There are 3 kingdoms that you will, after your judgment, you are placed into one of these 3 kingdoms.
There's Hufflepuff, Gryffindor, and
Okay. All right. Cool. The one. Well, let's start. No. Let's go high.
Okay, so
let's go high.
You have played all of your cards perfectly.
Everything. This is what we were talking
about. You were baptized. You were married. You had probably a couple wives because you're just good like that.
Yeah.
You've done everything.
Your first wife died, and you remarried again.
But you stayed sealed.
But you stay sealed.
To your second.
Yeah, we'll get to that in another episode as well.
So, on you merrily go to the Celestial Kingdom.
Celestial Kingdom.
Oh, and it's beautiful there. Everything's white.
It's white.
Everything's
just white. I've been in the celestial room in the temple. I know what it is. It's
got
white.
Lots of crystal.
There's some highlight colors,
some wood, some warm wood tones,
some warm wood tones, some greens. They like green,
but mostly it's
definitely
just
lots of
pure
crystal
and white and boring as all hell.
Oh my god! And you wear funny outfits. But anyway, so there's the Celestial Kingdom.
Right.
We won't get into all the stuff there, but if you're in the Celestial Kingdom, there's a good chance that you will get to be a god.
Yes.
It's not guaranteed because you're there.
Right. But you will. There's a good chance you'll be exalted. You will achieve exaltation.
Exaltation, and you will get to become as God.
Ta-da!
And then the second one down.
So this is the middle kingdom.
This is the middle kingdom.
It's not for the really good, and it's not for the really bad.
These are people who didn't accept Jesus, especially they didn't accept Jesus in a Mormon way, or maybe they did accept Jesus in a Mormon way, or not in a Mormon way. Well, even in a Mormon way, but maybe like in some just sort of generic Christian way.
But they were some kleptomaniac, and they stole minor things.
They didn't hurt the people. Celestial Kingdom is for Mormons who've done everything right.
Right.
This is for good people who just weren't Mormon.
As well as people who were in the balance of things.
Yeah.
You just come out middle. You don't come out good, you don't come out bad, you come out middle.
Yeah, exactly.
So you donated to a few charities and you weren't very nice to your sister.
Sure.
Or something.
Something along those lines.
We don't know the actual calculus that God uses.
No,
we don't have. There's no
read
formula.
It to you. The things that in like the Doctrine and Covenants. Believe me, it's not going to shed much light.
It doesn't
on the
help
thing.
at all. The whole point is you don't want to go there because you want the exaltation.
But I do know who goes to the bottom kingdom.
So the second kingdom is called the terrestrial kingdom.
Terrestrial, that is correct.
And the third kingdom is called
Telestial.
Telestial.
The Telestial kingdom.
Telestial. It's called the Telestial kingdom. And you don't want to go there.
No, because that's where murderers, thieves, whoremongers, etc. go.
Just
people who
real sinners,
kind of bad. Alcoholics.
Mind you, that goes everywhere from
people who might have, they drank.
Everyone on the, and it really does kind of run the gamut from like Hitler and Charles Manson all the way through to just like some guy who was just wrong place at the wrong time, made a bad choice.
But isn't that interesting that basically the worst human, Hitler, will be in this place?
Right.
I mean, that's a very good point.
Now, mind you,
Pol Pot will be in this place.
Let me tell you, people, how they describe the Telestial Kingdom, the worst kingdom of all.
The worst of them.
It's like Earth, only glorified.
So it's better.
It's
better than Earth.
Than here. Your life now.
Already better.
The worst thing you can get. Well, okay, with one exception.
There's an exception.
With a caveat.
We'll get there. So, go for it.
But the worst that you can get is better than what you've got already.
Yeah.
Good luck with that motivation.
Yeah. Also, I should note that the Celestial Kingdom is the only kingdom that is where the genders mix.
Really?
Oh yeah. So
I never heard that.
The homosexuals in the Celestial Kingdom.
Oh, that's true. You guys have it going on. I'm screwed if I go there. You get to go there and have.
You'll learn to like it, Dan.
You know what? I'll be fine. Yeah,
you know fine. What? You'll wave to Andrea across the line.
Yeah. But I'll be like, hey, the gays love me. What am I going to do?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
You'll be fine.
Yeah, sure. I'll learn.
Now, the caveat.
Do I have to like techno?
Yeah. 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 That's what would make it hell for Hitler.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And me.
Oh, it could be some of that nice dubstep for you, Dan.
Yeah.
You like that, don't you?
Actually, you know what? It's kind of growing
Is
on
it
me.
growing on you?
A little bit, yeah.
Really?
Like a rash. No, it is kind of growing on me.
Oh, you're silly.
Yeah.
Have you heard the Christian dubstep? Look it up. Music that is exclusively about drug use.
Yeah.
And
if it's about anything.
well, the purpose of it, the point, Dan, let's face it. Anyways, so the caveat.
Yes.
The one there is an exception.
Right.
The very worst, the most extreme worst,
Preserved for a single sin.
Defined as denying the Christ.
Yep. And you have to know for a fact.
You basically have to be a prophet who denies Christ.
Right.
You
basically have to have met the guy.
Basically, yeah.
And then deny him.
And yeah. There's a place called, and it's not really even a place.
No.
It's just called Outer Darkness.
Outer Darkness. Outer Darkness.
And that's where
it's the scariest.
Judas.
Yeah. That's got to be. He's got to go there.
And maybe probably Cain.
Two other guys.
You know.
There's nobody there.
Cain and Judas. That's like it. So.
And one guy that is just crazy. That just was just yeah. Because
it is completely beyond the sort of the glow of God.
It's outside. Yes. Yeah, that's the best way to describe it.
Yeah.
If God is the sun,
mm-hmm. It's completely beyond.
If God is the gooey center of the universe, mm-hmm. It is outside.
So Mormons get really spacey with their belief.
Outer Darkness is where the three bad guys in Superman 2 are.
Oh, it's a mirror.
It's a mirror that you're
just like
that's flipping end
space.
Over end through space,
pressing up, beating against the
right with people like let me out.
I don't think that's how they defined it, though.
That's really what they had in mind.
Yeah. So, anyways, that is the plan of salvation.
But it does involve space.
The plan of happiness.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
It's also called.
Right. Because there's a plan. Because
there's a plan.
We're here on this planet, and there's a reason. Right. And that reason is it's a quiz.
Never ask a Mormon what the purpose of life is, because
this
is what you're going to get.
They know for a fact what the purpose of life is. As a matter of fact, they're so... Okay, so my father-in-law, who's way too Mormon...
Yeah.
Like doesn't understand anything outside of it. Doesn't compute anything at all. Literally, I was the first atheist that he met.
That he knew was an atheist.
That he knew was an atheist. The first out atheist, and it's boggled his mind ever since. Mm-hmm. To the point where I've had to ask him to stop sending me emails because he'd send me these emails, and one of the emails said it was all talking about how. You can't know that God is true. He was under the impression that I would only believe in God if it were proven by science, which is close to the truth, but not. But it's much more nuanced than that. It's not. It's not like I think science has to prove it. But
right.
But he said that if you knew for a fact that God existed, then it would ruin the test. There's no faith involved if you already know it for a fact. So God can't let you know because it ruins the test. You've got the answers.
Oh my God.
And we're in second grade. We're in cosmology second grade.
Yeah.
It just makes me feel it's so
sickening. I know that argument. I mean, of course, if you grow up Mormon, you know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you grew up with any sort of faith-based anything, if you have all the answers, then why do you have faith? But do Mormons kind of dwell on that a little bit more?
A lot, yeah. Because it's not just about faith; it's about you're not accountable. If you have all the answers, then because you have to make the choices and you have to have free agency, and you don't have agency if you know the answers.
Right.
And then, after saying that, in the same breath as saying that, they get up in fast and testimony meeting and they say, I know the church is true.
Yeah. Yep.
They don't say believe.
No.
Mormons do not use the word believe.
Did they used to?
I don't know. But it is now very clear
It's
in the
definitely,
verbiage.
I know. Yeah.
I know the church is true. I know that Joseph Smith was a true prophet.
What's the testimony glove?
Glove.
Have you heard about this?
No.
Because people were rambling on too much.
Right.
And so they actually...
Oh, you have to understand. There's a every month, every first Sunday of every
Sunday of the
month.
It's the fast and testimony meeting.
Meaning you had to fast.
You come hungry.
Right. You're supposed to fast. You're not supposed to eat anything until you've been to church.
Right.
And then most people
You're supposed to skip. Actually, if you're doing it right, you skip dinner the night before, and then you do the first 2 meals of that day, and then you have dinner that night.
Oh, I've
but
never met anyone that
nobody
does that. No.
And so what it's turned into is the hardliners now
skip 2 meals.
They skip 2 meals.
Right.
And they
Breakfast
might not.
and lunch.
They might not have dessert after dinner on Saturday. But actually, I think that's what I'm thinking of. You have dinner, but then you don't eat anything else. You have like an early dinner on Saturday, and then you don't eat anything else. Anyways,
the main practice is you skip 2 meals that day. So that's the fasting part of it, and the testimony part of it is that members of the congregation get up and spend and their service, their sacrament meeting, which is the big meeting every week, is devoted to members sharing their testimony
at random.
So whoever's feeling it, the spirit that day, gets up and the men cry.
Oh yeah,
Mormons are criers.
Yeah,
not in their daily life,
no.
But as soon as they get up to that pulpit,
oh my God,
these
Waterworks.
men, it's just weepy time, and it's so annoying.
Yeah,
but.
And there's a Mormon cadence to this whole thing,
right,
and it's quite remarkable. But the thing that we're kind of, I think, leading up to,
right,
is that there is a woman in every ward who monopolizes the time.
Let's call her Sister Johansson.
I was going to call her Sister Smith.
Okay, Sister Smith,
because
or Sister
we
Young.
had a Sister Smith.
Okay,
no, we had a Sister Smith.
Well, yeah, everybody has a Sister Smith.
Well, I guess you'd have to, but she was something else. She would get up, and it was just like, when is she going to get up? When is she? And my mom was always like so catty about
every
this
month.
Too.
Oh yeah,
like she would just be like,
oh yeah, the sewing circles are just buzzing about it.
Let's see how long it takes her to get up there. Is she going to be first this time? Oh my God!
And they have a story to tell you.
Oh,
a faith-inspiring,
a faith-promoting story
from their life, where. I know that you guys all know my grandson, Joseph, and he had a really scary event this week where his mother took him and his beautiful brothers to the mountains, and he almost drowned in the river. He didn't actually fall in, but he came really, really close, and his mother felt a prompting. And brothers and sisters, I want to tell you, God was there. It's like, okay, I can't even go on. But let me tell you something. Every Mormon, including, who was it, Paul? Our friend Paul?
Oh, yeah. Paul knows this.
Paul has heard this story.
Paul knows this.
That specific story Paul has heard.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Something along those lines. Somebody had a screen door that wouldn't open or something, and the Lord somehow made it happen.
I couldn't find my keys, and then the Lord prompted me. I looked everywhere, and the Lord said,
and I was running late,
and I had to go to an appointment, and little Joseph was going to get braces, and we can't afford to cancel that appointment. And then I was prompted to look in our suitcase downstairs. And there it was. I don't know how it got there.
I think it would be a little more innocuous than that. Like just
it was in my other coat.
How I knew to look there, I'll never know. The Lord works in such mysterious ways.
I say these things in the name of Jesus Christ, amen.
Yeah. So anyway, so they created a glove, and on the glove it says, "I believe." So it's like "I believe" is like on the palm or something like this. It's only been described to me because this is post my Mormon experience,
right?
And it says like "I believe," and then it's like the church is true on like your thumb,
okay,
and then that Joseph Smith was a real prophet on one of your fingers. That the Book of Mormon is true. That the prophet is true,
right?
Because everything's true, right?
I just pulled it up on the LDS.org.
Okay. Just tell us about
my testimony. I know that God is our Heavenly Father and He loves us.
Oh.
I know that His Son, Jesus Christ, is our Savior and Redeemer. I know that Joseph Smith is a prophet of God. Is a prophet of God. He restored the gospel of Jesus Christ to the earth and translated the Book of Mormon by the power of God.
That's all on your middle finger?
That's why it has to be on the longest one.
Wow, okay.
I know that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is the Lord's church on the earth today. Oh, by the way, they are the only true church.
Yeah.
I just want to be clear about that.
Yeah. If you didn't get that from the Plan of Salvation.
Yeah. And number 5, I know that the church is led by a living prophet who receives revelation.
And they sell this so that everybody can learn the right things to say.
And basically, what you just heard is the 12-year-old version of, because some kids will want to bear their testimony because they hear their parents doing it and blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. I was one of these kids.
Would you get up? Would you do the whisper into the microphone thing?
I got up. Well, you know me. When have you known me?
Oh,
I wasn't.
But you weren't the little kid who.
I got up. No,
I got up, whispering into the ear.
No, I just got up there and said, "I'd like to bear my testimony that I know this church is true, and that I know Joseph Smith was a true prophet, and that the Book of Mormon is true, and that President Kimball's a true prophet. In the name of Jesus Christ, amen."
You didn't love your mom and dad?
Oh, yeah, that's right. I love my mom and dad, too. Oh, that I love my mom and dad. Bear my testimony.
Oh, Daniel.
So yes, if you hear, I'd like to bear my testimony.
Yeah.
You know that
I'd like to share my testimony with you.
Would you please?
No, I'm saying that's what they would say.
Yes.
Right?
Oh, and
if they're like, if you're having a conversation with a Mormon,
right,
they start in with like, can I share my testimony with you?
Or on the flip side of that, if you you don't lose your faith in Mormonism, you lose your testimony.
Yeah. No, that's true. Oh. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh.
All right, guys.
Well, thanks for listening, everybody.
Yeah.
Tune in next time for more fun.
And, of course, we never did a little shout-out about how people can contact us.
Well, shout it out.
And so if you'd like to leave a voicemail, like Jason did for the second time.
Yeah, thanks, Jason.
Please call 424-666-TGIA. It's really just a voicemail thing.
Yeah.
It just answers and you talk.
And you know what? We'll be kind to you. If you call in and you mess up or something, just ask us to edit it out.
Yeah.
We'll edit it.
We'll totally. Yeah.
We're nice that way.
Absolutely.
Or you can email us at podcast@thankgodimatheist.com, just like Paul did.
Yes. And you can always, of course, follow us on Twitter at TGI Atheist.
Yeah.
And you should check out the blog, too.
Yeah. Thankgodimatheist.com.
All right.
Thanks, everybody.
Have a good one.